ain't just like a white girl special, this is for everyone. Now down in Boca, you got this place Vinny's All Day, which is currently having its moment on the internet due to its ability to stuff an ungodly amount of chicken Caesar salad into their wraps. Now let me tell you one thing, I ain't going down to Boca. We're talking about salad here, guys. 4 real simple elements that anyone can do at any time. The hard part comes at the end, and today I accept that challenge. This is the classic chicken Caesar wrap. And everything but the tortilla we're doing from scratch. I'm gonna show you how to make a roasted chicken to perfection. Soft, tender, juicy. Homemade croutons just like the package you used to buy growing up. The original Caesar salad dressing. We're gonna add a couple little secrets in there to add a bit more texture. First step is here. I have a bone-in, skin-on chicken breast. I've salted it and let that dry out in the refrigerator overnight. As you can see, the bone is in. And we're just going to hit it with some olive oil. Lube it up. Now what we're looking for out of our chicken will dictate how we want to cook it. I don't need crispy skin. I don't need this to look perfect on a plate. All I need is the inside, the chicken breast itself, to be tender, moist, and perfectly cooked. So what I'm going to do, pop this into a 225-degree oven. I'm gonna cook it for roughly 45 minutes or an hour and then start to temp it. And we're just gonna cook it till the temperature hits 150. No broil, no high heat. Low and slow, just like a rotisserie chicken would. Now while that cooks, we're on to croutons. Here I've got some day-old bread, a little hollow. So what I'm gonna do, maybe 1/2-inch slices. I'm just gonna cut them into little strips. You want the crust on there? You can leave them. Otherwise, if you want to remove the crust, you can go around, cut the hard crust off, you can cut them in half, and there you've got nice little croutons. Alternatively, you could just cut them in half with the crust on, and cut some nice chunks. Toss them on a sheet tray and we're just gonna lay them out. Not completely stale in the center, so we're gonna let them air dry for a little bit. Can't really put them in the oven yet. Cooking at 225, we need to cook those around 300, so got about an hour before those can cook. In the meantime, while they dry out, we're gonna make the crouton seasoning to get this close to what you remember eating in the bag, which I used to just snack as a kid. And it's really kind of pivotal in the sandwich. A good crouton really makes this thing special. So we're gonna go into the base of garlic powder, about a tablespoon. Then we're gonna do about a teaspoon dry oregano, teaspoon of dried parsley, teaspoon of salt, fresh cracked black pepper. Optional is a little MSG, about a teaspoon. And then some grated pecorino. You can use Parmesan too. I happen to have both, but if you need to pick one, we need some Parm later, so I would just use Parm. Mix it together. I mean, that should smell like your childhood. This is what my little grubby fingers would smell like after eating a bag of them. I'm gonna pull out a little bit of it because I want some to sprinkle on at the end. It's like a final seasoning or dusting. The rest we're gonna just combine with some olive oil. That olive oil is gonna be like the vehicle to kind of transfer all that flavor into each crouton. I mean, that's a salad dressing if you really think about it. Now, of course, the lettuce of choice is romaine. And so with romaine, I always take kind of like the rough beaten light leaves on the outside, and then I just trim the soft tops. And so now this is a chopped salad at the end of the day. And they might, you know, chop their lettuce like that and then finely chop it at the end into like shards that then kind of mince up fine. But that beats the lettuce, so I'm going to chop it at the end, but I'm also going to just give some cuts and almost prep it for the chop at the end so that we kind of are a little bit more gentle with it. So I'm gonna now cut some fine pieces. Now that should be enough, but you know, I just found a bug, right? So what we have to do is not only bring these back to life with a little water, we need to wash them. So I got my salad spinner, I fill it up with water. Gonna add my ice, create some really nice cold water. It's gonna help shock the lettuce back to life. Lettuce comes all the way from California. Almost all lettuce does. So that's what, 2 weeks in a truck coming to the East Coast? So you gotta show your lettuce a little love if you're not buying it from a market. Place the salad in there. I'm just gonna let it chill in there in the cold ice water for 5 minutes or so. After 5 minutes, we can take the salad spinner that goes inside and strain it into there. Go ahead and dry it. Once it's dry, I just take a damp towel, I'm gonna cover it, and then place that in the fridge. The moisture, the cold air, it'll kind of seize it back into nice crisp lettuce. Now to go with our croutons, we're gonna add another level of crunch in some Parmesan fricos, or like little Parmesan crisps or chips. Because we're just gonna drop little piles. These are gonna be little Parm crisps, little texture. Now before we go on, we've got to talk about bread. Unfortunately, it ain't what it used to be. Commercialized, processed, mass-produced, sucking the life out of a staple of our diet. But our sponsor today, Wild Grain, has a different approach. The first baked to frozen subscription box for sourdough breads, artisan pastries, and fresh pastas. They partner with small bakers and pasta makers across the country to keep the tradition of artisanal and nutritious foods alive. And unlike many store-bought options, Wild Grain uses simple ingredients that you could pronounce, and a slow fermentation process that's easier on your belly and richer in nutrients and antioxidants. And you can even see the fermentation bubbles in the bread. And they stay fresh because they stay in the freezer. Every product par-bakes from frozen in 25 minutes or less, no thawing required. And because it's frozen, they don't need to use any preservatives. It's just bread. And since I only eat breads and sweets on occasion, try and balance out all the pasta that I eat on this show, it's nice to be able to keep a loaf frozen so when I need it, I can pull it out of the freezer, pop it into the oven directly on the rack at 425, and in about 20 minutes, I've got fresh bread whenever I may need it. They've also got gluten-free and vegan options, along with their new protein boxes. Click the link in my description and use my code NACS for $30 off your first order. Plus, wait for this, they're gonna give you free croissants for life, or something similar. A crazy offer you must take advantage of. You hear that? Not everywhere has access to good bread, and this is good bread. Now let's get back into the recipe. So about 50 minutes, what I'm gonna do is gonna take a temp right by where the bone is in the thickest part, 150. That's what we're looking for. Now don't tell me, Steve, that's an unsafe temperature to cook a chicken at. It's gotta be like 165 or whatever. Wrong. It's not about the temperature, it's how long it stays at a given temperature. If you hold it at 150 for 3 minutes, the USDA, the FDA, whatever, whoever manages that, considers that safe. So 150, we're gonna leave it alone, let it completely cool down. Now, these have dried out nicely. Gonna get them into a bowl. We're gonna take our little seasoning here, just drizzle it on there. Try and get it evenly distributed. They're like sponges, right? So I like to kind of spread it out first and start tossing them. You wanna make sure they get soaked up in that oil. It's a little dry in some area. I'll just hit it with a little bit more oil. Back on the sheet tray. We're gonna pop these into a 300-degree oven. I just jacked the heat up. We're gonna cook those for about 30 minutes, tossing them occasionally to get them evenly browned. Then we're gonna pop in our fricos. After about 10 or 15 minutes, you can see they melt and spread out, become lacy, and they will crisp up as they sort of set and dry, which we need to let them do right now. Croutons need more time. They smell amazing. I'm just checking for like soft spots. They're almost there. All I'm gonna do, hit it with some more cheese. Just gonna create a nice little crust for them. And then we're gonna get them back in. Now the secret to a good crouton is that it's kind of like shatters like glass all the way through. If that center is still a little soft, you didn't cook it long enough. So we're really just looking for that intense crunch characteristic. After about 35 minutes, they're like encrusted, browned, crispy, and we can toss them straight into a bowl, crisp all the way through. To give it a taste, that's the best way to try. Crunchy all the way through, beautiful flavor. Now, we give them a final seasoning with the seasoning that we reserved, right? Then we just toss them up, give them that final kind of dusting. My God. Next up, we can make the Caesar dressing. Now we're gonna make it kind of authentic, right? First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna slice these like, you know, little slices of garlic here, little slivers. Then we're gonna place them face up like that. With our knife, we're gonna place our knife on top. Smash it into like a little mince like that. It's easier if you pull it close to the board so the knife is nice and flat. Then you can smash it and pull across and you've got the mince without having to really even chop. To that, I'm going to add a half an anchovy just because I don't love them, but you kind of need a little bit of it. Then we're just going to chop that anchovy up, distribute it into the garlic. You can take a little salt, pile it all up, and you can kind of puree it with the edge of your knife. Gather that up, add it to a bowl. Now to mellow out that garlic, first thing we do is take a lemon. I'm gonna take just a cheek to start, but we're just gonna get one cheek in there and just stir that into the lemon juice. And that lemon juice is gonna sort of neutralize the pungency of the garlic and mellow it out a little bit. To that, we're gonna add a tablespoon of Dijon, get that in. Then some Worcestershire sauce, a tablespoon or two. We got 2 egg yolks that are going in. Then we're gonna start to stream in maybe a 1/4 cup of olive oil. Now in with a little Parmesan Reggiano. Finish with a little fresh cracked black pepper. Needs a pinch of salt and a touch more lemon. Punchy, round, rich, balanced. Although I do like to lean a little on the zingy side. And that's your Caesar dressing. Now our chicken is cooled. We can now prepare it. Now what we can do, and why we kept the skin on without browning, is to protect it. To use the fat in the skin to keep it moist. And so what I'm gonna do is just pull it off. You can save that, you can crisp that up, use it for like little chips. And then I'm gonna run around the breastbone, get as much of that chicken as I can. There's like a rib cage right here. You're just following the knife against the rib cage, slowly freeing up all the chicken. Then you come around, and you can pull it off, but I'm just trying to get as much of that chicken as I can. Now look at the glistening chicken. You're gonna cut in half, and you're gonna see it's nice and moist. And so now we can just slice it into little chunks, then we can just cut it into cubes. Now after seasoning it and allowing it to sit in the fridge overnight, not only can you tell it's like perfectly moist, soft, almost like can kind of tear just by pulling it, it's also seasoned throughout, right? The salt has penetrated into the chicken and we don't need it super flavorful because that dressing is gonna overpower any sort of spice that you wanna maybe spike this with, right? So simple is better and we're gonna let the dressing do the work. Now we're ready to make this thing. Now you can chop this up on the board, probably the most practical, but you know me, I like to be theatrical and I like to mimic exactly how a place makes the thing it is we're making. So we've got a bowl and a pizza cutter. First we're gonna go in with our nice crisp romaine. I think like 2 handfuls should probably do it. And then I'm gonna take some croutons. And I'm gonna hold it upside down like this, kind of away from me, and just start chopping. And now the restaurant is actually famously loud because it's non-stop, 6, 7 cutters, just chopping it up. So now it's mostly chopped up. We want density in the wrap, and chopping it gives us density rather than fluffy, airy wrap. Now, we go in with the chicken. I'm gonna spike it with a little banana peppers for a little pop, acidity, and a little spice. That's optional. Let's chop that up. In with our crisps, and then our dressing. Bit more. Finish with some parm. I'm gonna put some parchment down. The 10-inch tortilla. I got a little bowl like this, right? I'm gonna fill the bowl up. Nice fresh tortilla, nice and pliable. Pour it right on top. Then we're gonna take the sides, fold them over, and then we're gonna bring it up, right? But then I'm gonna take my hands and I'm gonna start compressing it, right? And I'm using my hands to sort of wrap around, right? Create this kind of tight seal. Keep compressing, keep rolling forward until you can kind of tuck it under the other side. And we got it on the parchment right now, so I'm gonna pull it back. I'm gonna roll it. I'm gonna twist the edges. Now we cut it in half. This ain't just like a white girl special, this is for everyone. When executed right, one of the best lunches you're ever gonna have. It's gotta have flavor, it's gotta have texture, chicken's gotta be on point, croutons gotta have flavor, and it's gotta be wrapped well. A friend of mine just texted me a Caesar wrap she got. Look at this. That ain't it. What's the difference? How it's stuffed, how it's cut, how it's prepared. We're not talking rocket science here, we're talking chicken Caesar wraps. This is how it's done. Recipe's gonna be down in the description, along with a link to my Patreon and the cooking school that I run inside of it. Go give it a peek if you've never done so. That's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself and go feed yourself.